Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Tuesday, August 22nd. My name is Joan. You can call me Joni if you love me. And this is the second episode of the Rants and Raves morning show. The first episode will never be live because I'm not proud of it, but we'll see. I will maybe get over myself and post it, but we'll see. First things first, I want to talk about the things that are top of my mind in terms of what's going on in the world, what I can't stop thinking about. And then I just want to talk about quickly before I leave for the office. I have to still do my hair. I don't know if it's going to be successful, but I want to talk about our digital lives a little bit and what happens whenever we leave this planet and this earthly plane. And so we're going to run through like a world recap almost, like just a rundown of what I'm thinking. And then we will go into my little short spiel. The Rants and Raves morning show, it's a Monday through Friday morning show that I will just be rambling off my thoughts in the morning and also giving you a little window into the things that I'm thinking about in terms of I think notable world news. And then from there, I think I should be ready for work and out the door. And so these should be pretty short, pretty sweet, pretty quick. Hopefully you learn something. Hopefully you take something away from it. Hopefully you like my outfit. If you don't like whatever you're listening to, I don't know. But all in all, I can't wait for you to join me on this journey of every day, except the weekends. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning in sunny London. Sunny for probably the first time all year. This past 2 weeks have been gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Actual summer vibes instead of fall/spring like we've been experiencing. That's why the first thing on my brain right now is climate change. I've been thinking about it nonstop. With the recent fires in Maui, and the hurricane that just got to California, Hurricane Hillary, the flooding, the way that the world is just absolutely on fire in Europe. The heat wave is just unbearable from the stories that I've been hearing. And then we're seeing a lot of flooding, and we're seeing a lot of major Mother Nature moves happening globally, and weather phenomenon or phenomena. I don't know. And I'm just thinking about how the scientists have changed our grading from global warming to global boiling. Yeah. Basically, we're on fire at this point, and are we going to get rid of it? I don't think so. Are we going to douse the fire out? I don't think so. Because our politicians are making more and more investments in oil, in natural gas, in those type of reserves. Speaking of oil, another thing that's on my brain is the Prime Minister of the UK invited the Saudi Arabia prince to come for official visit. Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, what a name. She should be king. Is going to be visiting the UK. They say they're thinking October, November. And the main reason is Saudi Arabia's oil reserves that have made them one of the wealthiest countries in the world, trillions and trillions of dollars that Mohammed does manage for his family, has been making a lot of moves globally beyond oil. They've been buying a lot of sports teams. The PGA is now owned by the Saudi Arabians. A lot of the football clubs here have Saudi Arabian investment and money. A lot of the trade agreements that are being made now are being made with the Saudi Arabia group that they trade as the Gulf Central Coalition or something like that. I need to get the name, but a lot of the trade deals, a lot of things that are happening, everybody's looking to Saudi Arabia because they have the money. They got the cash. This is not debt. This is not borrowing. They have cash money. Okay. And so everybody's looking to them to partner with, and willing to forget the fact that we are boiling, willing to forget that Saudi Arabia is also, or specifically Mohammed bin Salman is pretty much, we know that he killed Jamal Khashoggi. I can't say nobody's name. We know it. He ordered his killing of the embassy. We know it. We know. Okay. Right? We're looking at leadership globally for just forget what will support the people that they represent and are looking at what's going to make money. And we're seeing turning a blind eye to certain things just because certain countries have money, right? Meanwhile, there are people who I think that are grassroots, running for office, trying to be involved, activists that are trying to make their voices heard, but it's really, really hard. I mean, you think about the dangers of being somebody that goes against the system. Let's look at Ecuador. One of their presidential candidates, Fernando Villavicencio, I believe that's what his last name is, was assassinated when he was leaving one of his party events. He is one of the candidates in Ecuador that was speaking the most against corruption within the government. And little do you know, he gets assassinated, shot, leaving. And he was sitting in his car. He was surrounded by security, and they still shot this man, right? So we're looking at leaders who are trying getting assassinated, leaders who are doing the bare minimum, the least, what we need, and getting the furthest, right? If we want to take a look now to Africa, which we're talking about leaders who do the least of these. The least. We need to look at West Africa right now. ECOWAS is saying they are going to invade Niger today. If you don't know, Niger has been going through a coup since about July 23rd, I believe, 26th, where their president is being held by the Presidential Guard. The leader of the Presidential Guard basically now is running the country. In the time, though, that this coup has happened, they have halted the pipeline project that was going to be pumping, the natural gases and the oils up to France. Because Niger used to be a French colony, but the French still have a hold on them. Hold. Yeah, so ECOWAS, which is basically a group of West African countries who is almost like an EU situation, but not really. Do I want to go into it? No. ECOWAS has told Niger that if they do not reinstate their president, they're going to invade today. The reason why that means nothing is because they said the same thing 3 weeks ago. They said, if you don't reinstate your president, we're going to invade. And did they invade? No. And then they're saying it again, that they're going to do it today. Granted, it's only a few of the countries that are going in from ECOWAS. Mali, Burkina Faso, I believe Nigeria is going in. Ghana is not going to be going in because Ghana, please. To be honest, Nigeria, please. Burkina Faso at least is a military-run government. They have a military leader. Mali has a lot of influence. I think Mali as well, but maybe not. Mali has a lot of influence from the Wagner group. So does Burkina Faso. Both border Niger. Niger has had some issues at the border with these countries and with terrorism. And a lot of times we hear Boko Haram and we hear Islamist terrorism. What we don't know is Wagner group is in that as well. Okay? What we don't know is Wagner Group is in there as well. What we don't know is the reason why that Putin did not kill Bregovich or whatever his name is, the leader of the Wagner Group, whenever he tried to hold an unofficial coup in Russia a couple weeks ago, was because the Wagner Group's operations in Africa are so fruitful that Putin, a man who will poison you for just running for office, has kept a man alive and kept him at his side, a man who tried to take over his government just because he's bringing him so much money from these African countries. Do you know what Wagner did in Central African Republic? Huh? Do you know that they basically took over their largest mine? It used to be a mine that everyday citizens would go to. It was not regulated, and they could go, they could mine for gold, they could make some money for their families. Wagner Group came in, killed people, took over the mine, and now the mine per Central African Republic is not operational. But when you look at it in satellite photos, it's a full processing plant. We're trying to figure out where that billions of dollars of reserves came from whenever Russia was placed under all those sanctions, whenever they invaded Ukraine and their ruble didn't drop the way we thought because they had so many reserves of gold and diamonds and timber. Are we confused? While we're looking at Niger, who is also a just untapped resource land for all those things as well. Are we confused? Now, do I think that a coup is great? No, but sometimes it is necessary. And also, do I think that ECOWAS is really going to do nothing? No, because you guys can't even figure out how to lay down internal plumbing. Okay? We don't even have sewage systems in our countries the way that we should. Okay? We don't have a middle class. Okay? We didn't even roll out COVID well. How do you plan on starting a war, basically, when you can't afford to, you have conversations about affordable secondary school? You have conversations about affordable food. Your currency has dropped over 30% within the last 2 years, 20%. Let me not exaggerate. Who are you going to invade? Who are you going to reinstate back into power? Unless you're getting some help. And then that's what we need to talk about. ECOWAS, what's happening in Niger is not a great thing. We know that. But hey, most of these countries that are in the ECOWAS region have gone through coups. They know what it's about. Ghana went through 2. And it made us better for it, to be honest. Because some of these leaders that we have right now sitting in Africa, continentally, in Africa, every single country can speak to it. There's only a few, and even them, they're shaky. Every single one, they're playing with us. They want to talk about the cars that they have, the houses that they have, the way that they send their kids abroad to these schools and these schools. But we don't talk about the fact that we are in absolute shambles. And the rest of the world, China, India, Lebanon, Russia, America, are looking at us because they have no more water. They have no more resources. They have no more land. They don't have the timber we have. They don't have cobalt. They don't have the minerals we have. And we over here lollygagging, asking people, do you know who I am? Just for the sake of being an elected official, doing absolutely nothing about the things that need to be done. And now you want to change constitutions to make you stay in office longer. That's what we're doing. That's what's happening in Niger. Oh my God. Okay. Now, what else am I thinking about this time? I was thinking about China's economy because it's in shambles. The young people in China are struggling to find jobs, struggling to be a part of this economy. And even though they are one of the workhorses of the world in terms of having production, instead of a recession, instead of inflation, China is currently going through deflation. That's how bad their economy is doing. The reasoning that everybody's saying is because of COVID. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think it's a mix of things. I think it's a mix of the fact that the one-child rule is starting to pay its dividends. You know, no long-term thinking. No long-term thinking. That's what the African leaders are guilty of, and low-key the rest of y'all. No long-term thinking. None. So I want to keep an eye on that because I feel like because of what they're going through in terms of an economy, in terms of a people group, they need to amp things up when it comes to their population. Their young people need to be way more secure, and right now they don't have that. And so I think China's going to be somewhere to keep your eye on, especially if you're somebody who watches the stock market. In the next, the next 6 months, I feel like changes are coming. Because the Fed is making its decisions on interest rates, making a decision on whether we are going to enter a recession. But I don't know, guys. It's looking very recession vibes. It's looking very inflation vibes. So please keep your cash on you, save your money, because we all want to live first class lives. But to be honest, let's be smart. Please, let's be smart. Anything else that you're thinking about in the world today, Joan? Oh, Trump and this RICO case. You might just get hit with the RICO. You might just get hit with the RICO. Trump and his 18 friends all need to turn themselves in by Friday to Fulton County Jail to get booked. I can't wait for it because, as we know, this is not his first indictment. It's not even his second indictment. Is it his third indictment? I think it might be his fourth indictment, okay? This is the one that is state level. This is the one that is not pardonable. This is the one that could actually make an impact because RICO gives conspiracy to commit crime. RICO gives paying off a sex worker. People these days do not care about that. Trump raped a child and people still voted for him to be president. So It's going to seem like we're going to need people to turn. So having all those people under the same indictment, all those people at different levels of importance, somebody's going to flip. A lot of people are going to flip. Because if I'm a regular election worker in Georgia and I'm in the same RICO case as Trump and he's getting all this love and affection and nobody knows who I am, I'm flipping. Sorry. So I'm really excited about that. He's not going to be doing the debate. That's what everybody's saying, because he's still the front runner for the Republican Party. He's still miles and miles ahead of everybody else. I think it's 20 points ahead of everybody else. Miles ahead. Even with all the drama, he's miles and miles ahead of the competition. If that has never taught you to go for your dreams, to do whatever it is in this life you want to do, to never let anybody come for you, let that be the sermon today. Because this man is a convicted felon, basically now. Gonna be. He is a fraud. He's a liar. He's a thief. And he's a bully. And in all of that, he still became the United States president. And all I want to do is start a YouTube. You see how ridiculous it sounds to not go after the things you want to go after? Ridiculous. All right. I'll be back with my my outfit for work, getting dressed, and my coffee so that we can run down the digital life after the digital life. All right, let's do this. So I was watching this podcast. It's like Pod Save America. It's like Weekend Pod. I don't know what it's called. But her name is Kate. Her last name is Lindsey. Okay. So this is what she was saying. Basically, her mom had sent her an email saying that whenever she's no longer able to, or is not necessary for her to access her digital profiles, she wants her daughter to have all of like her passwords, all of that information. And so as she was doing research for her article, she had like spoken to a bunch of other people who had been in charge of like things like your Netflix subscription or like your emails, your texts. And grief is also just like a double-sided coin, where some of that is great to have because it's the constant reminder of this person in your life, who they are to you. Come on, London, relax. And also the other side is you are able to basically delete those profiles because you just can't bear to see that. It's a constant reminder of the person that's gone and that you don't have in your life anymore. And so she was just talking about how, like, you know, that has even impacted how she's decided to show up on the internet. And I was curious after like listening to it. I was like, yeah, actually this does change a little bit for me how I want to show up, because I do wish I had more voice notes or texts or emails. But it also just like how I want to show up in life, because I don't want the key memories for the people in my life to just be the things that I left behind digitally. Like, I want them to be able to tap into like some core experiences, core memories, core like relationships with me. And I need to get better at that, to be honest. But yeah, I was curious, like my question as I think about it is like, who would I give my digital life to? Like when I die and this existence is going to live long after me, because nothing on the internet ever goes away. Who am I going to give it to? Who's going to be the holder of the keys, right? Is it going to be your kids? Is it going to be a sibling, a parent? Like, who is it going to be? And then also, whose would you want to receive? Do you want to even get some, like, I don't know if I would want that responsibility of being in charge of somebody like after they're gone. That's a big responsibility. And then to have to like go through that, comb through like the physical, and now you're combing through the digital, the spiritual. It's so much. It's layered. So I wonder, whose would you be willing to receive? And then also, like, does it impact how you've decided to show up on this planet? Okay, guys, it's Tuesday, August 22nd. My name is Joan. You can call me Joni if you love me. And this has been a morning Rants and Raves. I'm actually going to go ahead and get on the train now and edit this and post it. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow.